Well, Moira and I met about 25 years ago. We had actually met in Halifax. I was there in the summer. I was going to Juilliard, and she was dancing. And when I went back to New York, Moira continued to dance, but had some problems with her foot. She had some lingering problems, but it ultimately led to her not being able to dance. And so she actually was introduced to the Pilates method of exercise through the Dancer Transition Center in Toronto. And so she had a great desire to go and to learn this method of exercise because it had worked a lot with dancers. And so being able to take the love of dance and also a quest and a desire to help others get from an injured state to a state where they could go back onto the stage was I think a big desire of yours.
Yeah.
And you spent a number of years in New York, a couple of years in New York, learning this method of exercise. And so when we came back to Toronto, you know, there was really no one at that time, doing Pilates in a significant way. I mean, in fact, throughout the world, there really wasn't a lot of Pilates taking place. I mean, this method of exercise had really been devised by Joseph Pilates and passed on to many others, but I mean, you have to sort of remember that, I mean, Joe Pilates died when he was, I believe, 87 and had, a small sort of 750 square foot walk up in New York. And so it wasn't a booming business by any means. It really only became fairly popular when it hit the fitness industry. I mean, the fitness industry sort of took it and made it sort of more of the mainstream. Right, the mainstream fitness community really made it more known within the public, and I think that gave not just us but many people an opportunity to build businesses, to build opportunities, to really professionalize this method of exercise. Moira has a great understanding of this method of exercise in its original form, but I think she believes that it was necessary to take it from what it was to something that was a little bit more refined, something that was a little bit more digestible, something that was also teachable. It was always this very secretive society, the Pilates method of exercise.
Yeah, passed on by people, they learned from the person before them. And you took notes from your teacher, and that's how you went and you taught. I mean, and that's how Pilates passed it on.
Right,
also.
You're sort of like at the foot of the master.
Yes.
But the thing is that what we wanted to do is we actually wanted to take what was great about the method of exercise, also capturing what Moira understood in her own sense of what was right, and also the one thing that Moira did, I think, that was great was also sort of open it up to other professionals, others that could actually take a look at it and say, well, you know what, if it was done in this particular way, it might be more effective.
Just to try to keep it, we wanted to make sure that we were keeping up with the latest research. Also, the way we train athletes now versus, back in the 20s, things have changed. So we wanted to evolve it and make sure we were on top of all that.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to remember, Joseph Pilates was a bit of a mad scientist.
Yeah.
Very
creative.
A man that was truly ahead of his time, but someone that had a very, strict and very precise view of the world. And so, I think that what he did is he inspired a wonderful method of exercise. But I think there have been people throughout the years that have actually taken, the foundation of his work and sort of brought a little bit of what we know today about the body. And that sort of allows, I think that allowed for it to grow and to prosper.
To evolve, and I'm sure he would have done the same thing. It needed to evolve,
right,
as physiotherapy through the years has needed to evolve.
Our contribution, we felt that it was important to structure a training program to allow instructors to learn this method of exercise and to go out and to teach it. And in some cases they teach for others, in some cases they teach for themselves. For some of them it's a business, for others it's a passion, it's a labor of love. But from our perspective, we've always felt that it was really important to try to add professional value to the instructors' lives, to enhance their ability to make a living and to do what they love to do. one particular piece, the reformer, which most people are familiar with. That was a bit of a challenge for us.
Yes.
I mean, it was actually acted as our dining room table for a number of years, many of the prototypes. I mean, it was...
As it evolved.
It was a big part of our life, actually. But the one thing that I do remember quite vividly was the time that we felt that we'd actually had this one piece of equipment that we had thought would make a bit of a splash in the Pilates community. And so what we did is we actually took the prototype and disassembled it and put it into little boxes because it was the cheapest way to send it to Los Angeles.
Right.
And then what we did is once it got to Los Angeles, we rented this little hotel suite. And we had previously, we invited, I don't know, about 100 people that we were sort of in some way connected with distantly, but that they would like to come and see this. And so this weekend in this small little suite in Los Angeles, we put this reformer back together, and I would say probably 50 or 60 people came through that door that weekend. And all of a sudden it seemed to us that we were now in the equipment business.
Up until then, a lot of equipment that we could get access to, or it was difficult to get access to it in the beginning, but it's one size. And of course, Lindsay being quite a bit taller than me, you know, we'd go through and he just wouldn't feel it the same way. And so he had a passion to evolve this equipment so that, you know, we could both feel it the same way. So there was a tremendous amount of adjustability that you'd put into this, which had taken a lot of trial and error, but people really appreciated that. I think when they got on there, it was, you know, a different feel and a lot more adjustability and very smooth, and they liked it. They liked the feel.
Yeah. One of our goals would be to make this method of exercise more accessible to people. I mean, interestingly enough, I mean, I think one of the things that we find challenging is as you introduce this into health clubs. I mean, health clubs have a certain particular model that they want any of their their exercise regimes to sort of fit into, and the group environment, for example, is one that the fitness community is very accustomed to.
Yes.
And so taking something that has been predominantly done on a one-to-one basis or done in small group classes and then try to make it fit into a group setting is sometimes challenging. And so for us, it's like I often think of it as being the Pilates community and the fitness community in some ways colliding and who will win. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that we can all win, but I mean, I think there's a little bit of struggle that's taking place.
Because we want to maintain the standards. It's important that we maintain the standards, but then on the other hand, if we don't train enough teachers, then, you know, the Pilates will start to just become more difficult for people to get access to.
I think that's one of the most, that is the largest challenge, and that is trying to get enough qualified instructors. I mean, health clubs are always finding that they're interested, they're told their members want it, but what happens is they don't have access to the instructors, and that's always tough. And so from our perspective, you know, I mean, I think that's really one of the you know, the sweet spots of the company, and that is, you know, having put together under your leadership a great training program. I mean, we have trained in excess of 13,000 instructors around the world today, which is, you know, quite an accomplishment. And I think that if we are to continue to grow at the rate that we're growing, you know, that will be a fairly impressive number. But that number really will only help to build and to strengthen the foundation of what's been established, and not only by us, but by many others. There's lots of other training programs around as well. And so, I mean, from our perspective, you know, building this, you know, sometimes I guess you feel a bit like a pioneer. You know, you are helping to build the foundation of something that is wonderful. I mean, you know, Joe Pilates inspired something that was quite significant. You know, and I think, as you said earlier, you know, if he was alive today, I'm sure that what he would be doing is, you know, taking all of these new ideas, these new thoughts, and trying to incorporate it into what he does.
Yes.
So in some ways, it's just sort of a passing of a torch.
One of our mandates in the beginning was to document everything, every breath, and hence we developed the manuals with a very strong team. And the DVDs have evolved from just trying to make it easier for people to train. because for a long time, as we said before, it wasn't documented.
No.
So it was very difficult to pass it on. So the more we can come up with the teaching tools to get the instructors out there, the more successful hopefully the instructors will be.
Well, I mean, the DVDs have acted as a wonderful way of being able to take information and pass that information on to others. Especially, I mean, we live in a very global community, and many of the instructors I mentioned in excess of 13,000. I mean, they come from all over the world. I would say that we have instructors, I think it's in 30 different countries today. Yeah. Which is, I guess it's just a sort of a testament to the interest of this method of exercise around the world. And I think that also presents a bit of a challenge too, because for us, I think that if you go into somebody else's country and want to do business, you also have to communicate in their language.
Yes.
And so, you have to find ways of being able to translate the material. I guess there's really four pillars to our business. There's the equipment company, there's the education company, and then there is the studio component of our business. And also, we've actually entered into the retail business as well. And these are all very synergistic in nature. They all support one another. But I would say that our primary goal is to really add professional value to the instructors that we work with on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Either through ourselves, the instructors that you have working directly with you, or through the licensed training centers. I mean, that's something we've not really spent much time talking about. The licensed training centers, they are a relationship that we covet. We have they're very, very, very important to our world. Essentially, what a licensed training center is where they actually train many of the instructors. I said earlier that we actually have in excess of 13,000 trained instructors around the world today. Well, a lot of those trained instructors go to licensed training centers. And so that's a really important part of what we do.
Well, I think it has, it evolved from, the original method of exercise that Joseph Pilates pioneered. And then, we originally started working with, physical therapists, physiotherapists, to just make sure that it was more in keeping with current research and how we were dealing with injuries. So, we very much brought into that whole philosophy of stabilizing from, the inside out, which Pilates always did, but really being very focused on our local stabilizers right out through the global stabilizers. And then through time, always making sure that, if we were starting to evolve it and work more with athletes, dancers, that we were consulting with people that were training with them on a regular basis. So we weren't guessing what they needed. We were really getting right in there and evolving the different approaches to make it very specific to each individual's needs. And we have a fantastic team out there that we do work with and are very thankful that they're aboard with us to help us make sure that we're on top of all these separate areas.
The one area which we have a particular interest in too, actually, and one is sports-specific programming and also in rehabilitative programming. And both of those approaches are slightly different. So it's really important for us to actually look outside of our world to the experts that are out there that can help us complement. We often like to think that what we do dovetails nicely with other things, and so it's important to go out there and seek expert advice in that area.
Yes, so that we always, in our training philosophy, we always train the instructor. They all learn those strong fundamentals to begin with. So they're all doing the same course to begin with. But then as they go out into the field and maybe get more interested in different areas, rehab versus sports specific, that they're actually speaking the same language. And what we're really trying to do is promote that continuing education to help them go out there and specialize if they choose, but make sure when they specialize that they really are getting the tools that are essential for that particular area that they're going into. During that career, I was plagued with this injury and always had to stop after the season was over, and take time off, and then madly try to get back in shape, and compensated a lot, and was always sort of, after I stopped, interested in trying to put something together for the dancer, because at that time there was no conditioning for dancers. We didn't want to build bulk, you know, so you got back and you just compensated until you get back on stage, and that was the only way you got a paycheck, and so you couldn't take time off. So I was very interested in that area between finishing physiotherapy and getting back on stage, and was told by the Dancer Transition Center in Canada of this method of exercise, Pilates, that just might be interesting. And of course, Lindsay was in New York at that time, so it sounded even more attractive. So I went down, and I do remember walking into, it was Romana Krauzeneska's studio in New York, and seeing all this plumbing and scary-looking equipment, and going, ooh, I really wanted to turn around and flee. But because I really wanted also to do something else with my life and didn't really know what to do, I did take that first class with Romana and kind of walked out going, did I feel it? You know, sort of quite a usual reaction for some people. But went back the next day, and gradually did start to really fall in love with it, and it did feel great, because a lot of the movements, you know, were very familiar to me as a dancer, and I think that really helped me get through that big transition from the stage to not being on the stage, and we haven't stopped since.
I think the Pilates method of exercise is obviously a wonderful thing, and I do think that, you know, we're very, very fortunate to actually be doing something that enhances, you know, people's lives, and the stories that you do hear from people, it's very, very rewarding. Very rewarding.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you do feel that you are contributing to something that's very, very positive. And it varies. I mean, it varies, at least from my perspective anyway. It varies from someone simply going, wow, you know, what it is that you do does help me live a healthier life, and that's extremely gratifying.
Yeah, more pain-free, or sometimes it is just feeling better about their body. Sometimes it's someone that's come in with, you know, back pain, and a lot of the instructors that get into this business are very caring people. So that combination of the giving and you know, the type of workout that is very beneficial for such a vast array of people. It is wonderful to see some of the goals, right down to, you know, club head speed and playing a better game of golf.
Yeah, no, and actually another one of the rewarding things I find is that the instructors, I find, are engaged in this method of exercise for all the right reasons. They want to help people. They want to do good things for other people. And I think that sense of goodness is something that does transfer. And I think it's a wonderful thing. And to be a part of that, I think, is wonderful. So sort of almost vicariously living through other...
Through them, that's right, because they're getting, that's right, they're getting that feedback, and it is wonderful, and they get very excited when
it is.
They get that, yes.
It is. And also, I think, and also, you know, another interesting thing about this, I guess, this journey that we've been on is that we've met lots and lots of people. But it is wonderful to be around people that are so passionate and so high-spirited and so positive about what it is they do. I actually would consider that to be one of the, you know, most satisfying aspects of my my part of this journey.
Well, and also too that, you know, we talk about the instructors, but there's been some incredible people that we've had with our team,
yes,
right from the very start, that share that same passion. They might not be the instructor, that they're behind the scenes. They're either marketers or they're, you know, the guys that work on our equipment, and you know, they're all part of the big picture that goes out there to that end reward for everybody. And
I think that's actually very important, Moira. I mean, I think that, you know, surely it's not just you and I.
Right.
I mean, we have been, you know, literally surrounded by a lot of really, really great people that are very passionate and very talented, and have made this a meaningful part of their life, and it's humbling, actually. You know, that we have been doing this, and we have been a part of their lives, and because it's surely not just us. And I think that anybody that's ever, been involved in a company, they know that it takes, what do they say? It takes takes a village, I think, to raise a child. Well, to raise a company, it takes at least that. Maybe a big city, but it's been fun, and it's been encouraging, and it's been quite a wonderful thing, and I hope to think there's many more chapters too. So it'll be.
Yes, we've been very lucky.
Just another chapter.
Yes. Single leg. So I'm going to go down to 2 springs. And we're going to start just with the one leg bent, ball of the foot onto the bar right under the sit bone. 5 times. We're going to take it away and bring it in. That's it. Just easy. Again, now I'm watching that she's not hiking up on that opposite hip. Good. Now after this one, we're going into the bicycle. The leg extends over the bar. Inhale and exhale, press it away. 1 and 2. Good. All the time watching that she's not starting to get tension in that upper middle back. So the obliques work just to keep a connection on the rib cage. Good. Ready for the développé after this one. We inhale up, exhale, lower lift. Inhale, flex both feet. Exhale, extend it. Fabulous. Now here the leg only goes as high as she can keep the pelvis neutral. So it's not important to get it back over your head. Our focus is all on torso stability, and then while we're working the leg and really working on that hinge at the hip and working the muscles around the hip joint. Good. One more time. And take it away. Flex and bring it in. Now put the heel on the bar. Good. Is this leg getting worked yet? Let's start leg up here. Flex this foot a little bit, push into my hand and reach it away, making sure it's level. 5 times we press. Now here the tendency is to be pulled a little bit into extension in the lower back and to hike that hip up. Obliques have to work because we tend to want to roll over to the one side. Those deep rotators are working to create that stability on the one leg. And great. Okay. So let's balance you up on the other side. Ball of the foot, making sure it's really the ball of the foot and it's not just the toes, or it's not too low down or your client slips off the bar. 5 times. Take it away. And 1. Again, making sure that we're not rotating one way or another now, that we're on the single leg. Now into the bicycle. Extend it so she only flexes that knee as far as she can keep the pelvis neutral so it's not tucking under. Good. And then into the bicycle. Easy. Good. So if someone's tighter in the hip, you will start to see that whole movement. Lateral flexion in the side. Good. Now into the développé, lower lift. Now here we inhale, flex both feet, exhale, extend. So the breath, inhale up, exhale, make sure to keep control. Inhale, reach the heel to the ceiling, and exhale. Fantastic. Reach, lower lift, good. Reach the heel to the ceiling, good. 2 more times, and reach. She's still smiling, but we've only just got started. This is good. And in 1 last time, reach it up. Lower lift, flex, reach the heel. Okay, now place the heel on the bar. Really push into that heel. Pressing into that heel helps really feel that connection through those hip extensors. Good. Reach. And reach. And reach. Good. Fantastic. Let's go right into the 100. Grab your straps. Both feet off the bar. Breathe in. Move a little bit away from your shoulder rest. Exhale. Drop the chin and come up. And we in 2, 3, 4, 5 and out 2, 3, 4, 10. In 2, 3, 4, 5. Smooth breath now. That in 2, 3, 4, 5 and exhale 2, 4, 5 and in 2, 4, 5 and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's challenge her a little bit and lower 2, 3, 4, 5 in 2, 4, 5. So I'm asking her to go as low as I can see that she's maintaining this. As soon as this starts to pop up, her abs start to pop up, I can see she's losing stability, but she's looking pretty good. Last one, into 5 and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 100. Bend the knees in and reach. Control it down. That's right. Right away, feet go into the straps for the bend and stretch. Still on 2 springs. That's it. And we could do this again parallel, laterally rotated. Okay, what we're going to do here is just exhale, reach away 5 times parallel. And reach, 2, 3. Now at this intermediate level, I'm going to ask her to try to stay neutral the whole time. In the essential level, we went from neutral to the imprint, where we're activating a little more the oblique to bring the pelvis back into that slight posterior tilt. At this point, we're really working to neutral. Fantastic. Let's do. The essential reformer repertoire can be challenging enough for many clients. For those who need a little extra intensity, but may not be ready to progress to the intermediate level, we can add some simple variations that will test strength, endurance, and flexibility. In all cases, we want to make sure the exercises we use are safe, keeping in mind any physical limitations of the individual. John Gary, a Stop Pilates Master Instructor Trainer, will lead us through specific exercises. To help achieve our goals, we will vary the spring tension, starting position, and pace as we go along. Here's John.
All right, let's get started. Are you ready?
It appears I drew the small straw, so I'm the one that gets to be challenged.
That's
okay,
right.
okay, I
This
can
time,
handle this.
this time.
I can handle this.
All right, we're going to start with the footwork.
Okay.
So normally in footwork, we can have 3 or 4 springs on, depending on the client's strength and what we want to get out of the exercise. You can increase or lower the resistance to get a little bit of a different feeling from the exercise. So the first one, we're going to challenge more by increasing the resistance. So we're going to go up by 1 spring from what she normally does.
Thank you, John.
And we're going to do toes apart, heels together with added resistance. So from here, make sure that the knees are in line with the toes and the pelvis, lumbar, and spine are neutral, ribs are relaxed, neck and shoulders relaxed.
Okay.
And breathe in to prepare. Exhale, press away. Inhale to come back in. So by increasing the resistance, you are working more the phasic muscles, right?
Right.
The more superficial muscles. So clients who sometimes say that they can't feel the work, this may be one way to help them to feel it in the beginning so that they're actually feeling something as they're doing the work.
I'm
right?
feeling something.
Can
I'm
you
definitely
feel it?
feeling something.
Have we done enough repetitions?
Yes, I'm
Probably.
not superficial, but I'm feeling something.
All right. So the next one we're going to do is the toes wrapped over the bar. And for this one, we're going to decrease resistance. So I'm going to go a little bit, actually a lot lower than what Moira probably normally uses for this. I recommend that you go to a half spring or 1 spring, because the goal of this exercise is to have the client feel the sense of having to really stabilize the torso as they move out. And this is great for clients who need an understanding of where they need to stabilize. Are you ready?
Yes, yes.
So inhale, prepare, exhale to press away and come back in. So especially at the far end and at the very close end, you're going to be watching to make sure that your client maintains that.
Yeah, you really want to kind of,
exactly. You really just want to let it all go. And that's what we're helping the client to understand, that no matter what the spring tension is, we've got to keep that sense of stability throughout the torso. And that's what it's all about. So come all the way in.
Just like that.
Just like that. That was great.
That was fun.
It's like you've done this before.
Just a couple of times. Just a couple of times.
Next is heels on the bar. So for this one, we're going to challenge by doing pulses. So let me go back to Moira's regular tension spring.
Don't tell anybody what that is.
I'm not going to say a word. It's our secret. Legs are together, heels on the bar. And from here, we're going to do close range pulses. So you're going to press out just a little ways and then exhale as you pull the carriage back in each time. You're watching to make sure that the client is maintaining that neutral position through the pelvis and lumbar spine. And you're really challenging the work on both the adductors to keep the legs together and the glutes and hamstrings. And I think that's plenty.
I feel 'em.
And just press out 1 time just to release and come all the way back in. So let's do that same thing now with the high half toe. So on the balls of your feet with the heels lifted, you're going to press out about halfway, or not quite halfway actually, and then pull it back in. Quick pulses. Up to 10, that's great. With the heels lifted, you're really feeling this in the soleus, yes?
Yes.
And also in the quadriceps.
Yes.
Lots of work there. Very good. perfect stabilization. Imagine that, you're doing it well. Press all the way
And
out
I feel
for a
it
release.
right in my, yep.
Can you?
I
That's
can.
great. And that's actually where we want to tell the clients to engage is the hip extensors.
Right.
Because normally clients will go right into those quads, but of course a trained professional will know to engage those glutes and hamstrings. But we do want to remind our clients to do that.
Yeah, and that's a good play. I think clients really do feel, that's a great way to get them to feel that. They really
It is.
do.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yep, I agree. Good. Keep going.
All right, next is the lower and lift. So from here, we're gonna just change the pulses to 3 pulses, and then we're gonna do a full press out, lower the heels and come in. So press out just a little ways, and exhale, pull it in 3, and 2, and 1. Now reach all the way out, lower the heels under, lift them up, and then come back in and pulse in 3, 2, 1, press out, lower the heels, come back up. Now this does add some complexity to the movement pattern. So make sure that your client does it the regular way a few times first and then add the pulses in if you think they're ready for this. And come all the way up and back in. That's great. Okay, from there we're gonna move to second position, parallel. And this time we are gonna do the same thing we did in the last one, the 3 pulses and then the full repetition. So pressing out just a little bit. Exhale, pull it in 3, 2, 1, all the way out and come back in. Now in second position, your feet are about hip distance apart. So now we have to stabilize the knees without using the adductors to press against each other, right? So your adductors and abductors both have to work to stabilize, and you're increasing the intensity by pulling in and doing the pulses. That's it, and then reaching back out. And remember, when you are pressing from your heels, there is a stronger connection with the glutes and hamstrings. So you can emphasize that with your clients. Moving on, the single leg. So from here, we're gonna reduce your springs down.
Thank you.
There we go. And normally 2 or 3 springs for the single leg work. But remember, when you are intensifying it, you might need to go down in resistance a little bit. Now you can tell me how this feels. I have a feeling that you're gonna be able to do it, but you can tell me if we need to go up or down. So, high half toe position and 1 leg bent, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna add the little pulses in the beginning. So press out and pulse in 3 and 2 and 1, reach away and come back in and pulse 3, 2, 1, reach away and come back in and pulse. And she's doing a fabulous job here. She not only has to stabilize through this 1 leg, but because she's only on 1 leg, she really has to work to control the pelvis, make sure she's not hiking the hip on one side. Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Or
And
this, actually, yeah.
Yep,
as
and
you come
especially
in.
as you reach away, the pelvis just wants to go its own way, and you have to really stabilize with that. And let's do the other leg just to balance you out. Thank you, Moira. Just jump right in there. Press all the way
You're
out.
saying all the right things, John.
Exhale, come in and pulse, 2.
Just continue to say nice things.
All right, press all the way out and come in and pulse 3, 2, 1. Lengthen all the way out, and one more time. Come in and pulse 3, 2, 1. Reach away and come back in. That was great. And now the développé prep. So 1 foot on in line with your sit bone. The other leg is going to be stretched out over. This is a great thing to do before you do the full développé in the intermediate level. It's kind of a graduation. So from here, you're going to press back, bend your knee and stretch it up, and then bend your knee as you come back in, stretch it back over the bar. Inhale as you press back and reach it up. Exhale as you come in and stretch it over. And do that again. Inhaling, pressing back and up, and exhale to come back in. That's great. And this is just a really nice way to introduce that complex movement pattern to your client before you get started.
And it does feel great after all that pulsing we were doing earlier, just to get a little length through the hamstring.
Yeah, because we were really engaging those hip extensors, and now you're giving it a little release, a little stretch, working stretch, up and over. Yeah, it's a really good, really good stretch. And you can see Moira has to work as she stretches the leg up for 2 reasons. One, if she doesn't have the flexibility that she has, she would want to lift her tailbone up as she,
It's
that's
tempting
it.
to really want to do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And kind of go for an increased stretch, but really what you're doing is you're losing the pelvic position, so you're not really increasing the stretch on the hamstring when you do that. And the second is the hip wants to hike up on that side as you come in and bring the knee in. So you have to make sure that you keep that alignment as well. All right, perfect. Let's move on now, and we're gonna go to the hundreds. Fun, the hundreds. And just because they're not intense enough,
Oh, no.
we're gonna add the fitness circle to this. So the straps are over your shoulder rest. Just grab those straps, 4 springs, just kidding. 2 springs for
Not
this.
that I couldn't handle it.
And put this right between the ankles. That's it. Now with adding the fitness circle, we're going to be adding intensity to the lower body. So both by engaging the adductors to put some pressure on that fitness circle, and also because when you extend the legs out, that fitness circle feels a lot lighter when you hold it in close to when you hold it away because the lever length changes.
Make sure you tell everybody that.
So this is a very challenging exercise. Breathe in to prepare. Exhale, keep your knees bent, flex your upper body up, and straighten the arms. Pulsing up and down, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, reach out and squeeze the circle, 2, 3, 4, 10, and in, 3, 4, 5, and reach and squeeze. 2,
This
and
is
the
a
abs are
very
really
slow
flat. This is great.
100.
And come in, I can slow it down a little bit more. And
that's
exhale,
fine.
reach, 2, 3, 4. Now hold it there. Just release the tension as you inhale. And then exhale and squeeze. That's it. And release the tension as you inhale. And exhale and squeeze. And this is very intense. She's making it look really easy, but I know how hard it is. And hold it right there. Breathe in, bend the knees. I think that's plenty.
I think
And then
so.
exhale and release all the way down.
That was like
great.
150.
I think it was actually 60.
Slow motion.
All right, from there, we're gonna move on to the bend and stretch. So for the bend and stretch, we have you on 2 springs. We're gonna press back. Straps go on to the feet, and we're gonna work the small range. So from here, we're gonna do little pulses in the close range. So again, you breathe in to prepare, and exhale, press out 5 and 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you can do a full one, just point through the toes and then come back in, and again, little presses out. And here, it's harder than actually doing the pulses against the foot bar because you have to stabilize. The ropes are not as secure as that foot bar is, so you have to hold, stabilize, and still work glutes, hamstrings, abdominals to help you keep the control of the pelvis. That's great.
Yeah, it's a great exercise to bring awareness to the hip extensors.
To firing
Like
into the
another
hip.
one.
Yeah, that's right.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
great.
That's
Next.
great. Okay, now we're gonna do lateral rotation. Let's bring the fitness circle back. You can keep your feet right there where they are. Yeah. And we're just gonna put the fitness circle between the ankles. Let's make sure I get it even for you. How's that?
Please.
Right there. In lateral rotation, so for this one, breathe in and then exhale, extend the legs out and give that circle a little squeeze and then come back in. So this adds lots of intensity because not only are you working against the spring resistance, you're working against the fitness circle resistance as well,
Oh.
pressing in, and it is really challenging on those inner thighs. And then come back in one more time. Exhale, press away, and then come back in. That's great. Okay, we'll take that
You
back.
can really feel also if you want to push one leg more than the other.
If you have an imbalance, yeah,
Yeah.
it shows up really well with
Yes.
this. It does.
Not that I have any imbalances.
Of course not. All right, you can stay right there. We're going to go into the mid-back series. Get ready. We're not switching this time. This is all you. All right, we're going to go down to 1.5 springs here. And we're going to do triceps with some torso flexion. So one of the variations that you can do to increase the intensity of the mid-back series is coming up like you would in an ab prep. So you're going to inhale to prepare, exhale, extend the elbow, and flex the torso up simultaneously. Inhale to release back down. And exhale to curl up, slide the ribs toward the hips, connect with those abdominals, and then inhale to release back down. 2 more times. Exhale to flex up and reach to the fingertips, and release back down. And let's just do one more. Exhale, flex up. Now you're gonna stay there and we're gonna go right into the second one. So that is another way to intensify by grouping exercises together.
Keep
So
going.
reach the arms up, breathe in, exhale, pull down. Breathe in, you're staying in flexion and doing the second one, which is pull down, straight pull down. That's it. And one more time, pull down, that's great. Now stay right there. Release the upper body back an inch and then press into those straps to come back up. Inhale back and exhale, curl up and inhale back. Good. And exhale, reach into those straps. One more time, I think. Inhale back, exhale, curl up, and now release the arms up and release the torso back down. I know how challenging that is. That was incredible. Very, very good.
You can feel that one.
Yeah. All right. Legs tabletop, arms reaching out to 45 degrees. And we're going to keep your upper body down here, and we're just going to focus actually on the arm work on this one. So breathe in. As you exhale, you're going to pull down and just do 3 pulses. 3, 2, one, and then release all the way back up. And again, exhale, pull down. So now she's still working the abdominals to stabilize, but really we're focusing here on the lats
Yes,
and the
major.
pecs as well. Yeah, and then come back up. And one more time, exhale, pulse, 3, 2, 1, and come back up. And then reach the arms straight out to the side. Now you can, with all of these, come up in flexion or stay in flexion with the torso to increase the intensity.
You could.
We'll keep you down for this one. And you can just do straight pulses as well. So bringing the arms right down to the side and pulling in for 10 pulses. And here, because your arms are angled differently, you're hitting the muscles a little bit differently as well. It's always good to vary things. So not only can you vary the
10.
10. All right. Into small circles. Bring it down. And then let's turn the palms down and do quick circles, 10, 9. So now we're speeding up the circles here and using stabilizers of the shoulder to keep everything really intact and not come out of that more neutral position through the scapula. And 10 in each direction is great. And then release back.
Yes, you
That
can
was
really
wonderful.
feel that. That's great exercise on your
Yeah.
shoulders.
And just I was mentioning before, you could do different positions with the hands here.
Yes.
So let's just show that. So triceps, you can have the palms facing down as you do a tricep press. Okay, that is kind of the regular version of the one you'll see most often. But you can also turn the palms in to face each other and press down. So this is a more neutral position with the forearm, but you're hitting a different part of the tricep and you can feel the difference. Now, if we really want to challenge Moira, we can flip the hands over and press down from there. And this is very challenging, and she's doing it on a pretty good spring resistance there. That's awesome. And press down one more time.
Good. You're saying nice things now,
And
John.
release.
That's good. Keep that up. That's
All
good.
right, that's great. Come on up, and let's move on to the back rowing preps. So from here, we're just going to change this resistance a bit for what we're going to do. Anywhere from 1 to 2 springs is good on this one as well. And the first one we're going to do is the plow. So with the plow, we are actually going to start to incorporate some of the movement patterns that you will see in the intermediate level, but we're going to be in the intermediate level on our knees. So here, we're going to do the press back with the pulses. So breathe in to prepare, exhale, press back as far as you can, release to the hips, and then pulse back 3, and a little further 2, and release in a little further 3, and all the way forward. Inhale. Exhale, press back, release a little, and pulse 3, a little further 2, a little further 1, all the time growing up in the spine, and we've got one more. Exhale, press back as far as you can, release to the hips, and pulse 3, growing through the spine 2, and 1, and come all the way forward. Excellent. Now we're going to move on to open elbows. How are we doing?
Good.
Good.
We're just
Yeah.
fine.
I feel really good.
Yeah, you feel great, I'm sure.
Put the straps up to your elbows. In the essential level, when we do the open elbows, we reach both arms back at the same time. So you'll open arms, yep, just like that, and come forward. Now we can do this really challenging work, which is unilateral. So just reaching one arm back and then coming back to the center. So Moira's really got to use all of her torso stabilizers to keep her from rotating as she does that open elbow. That's great. At the same time, you can see all the muscles here around the scapula working to slide the scapula toward the center. That's perfect. That's good.
Good.
From there, bicep
Can't
curls.
talk and do that one.
That's a tough one.
Okay.
The bicep curls, again, normally done both arms together, but you can do, let's do alternating on this one. So you can do one arm at a time and then switch to the other arm. And this is even more challenging than doing 4 or 5 on one and then switching to the other, because
Yeah, 'cause
each
you
time
wanna
you
kind of,
change, yeah, you have to
really
switch
have
the
to
stabilizers that you're using.
Switch quickly.
That's right. Good.
Am I switching quickly?
You are doing great. That's perfect. Come all the way forward. For triceps, you're just going to flip your hands over. That's it. And we already showed the different hand positions you can use on all of these, but let's just do palms down. Exhale, press both arms back just to start with, and then bend. And now we're going to do alternating. So press one arm back, exhale. Inhale, bend, and switch, and exhale. We've got to balance you out. We did biceps. We've got to do triceps, and switch again. Exhale.
Was this the amount of springs we practiced on?
I think so. And that's good. We'll stop right there. Now, remember that if your client, and Moira doesn't have to cross her legs to put them through the shoulder rest, but if you do have a client that has crossed their legs, you want to make sure that you recross them each time and
Yeah.
put the other one on top. Yep, so and either whether they're folded
They're
close
here.
or folded over the headrest. But I wanted to show the roll down now. So let's scoot forward just a little bit. And this is a variation. In the essential level, we do a roll down where you exhale, roll back, inhale to stay, exhale, flex forward, and then inhale to lengthen up through the spine. Now we're gonna stay down there and do just a little bit more work from here. So you're gonna exhale, roll back, pull those hands in. Now just release the arms forward and then pull them back in 3. That's it. So you see lots of bicep work there, lots of upper body work there actually. That's it. And then last time, pull in, then flex forward over the legs, and then lengthen back up to the top. And that's great. Just do 3 or 4 of them and then come forward and up, and you can do another set if you'd like to.
Yeah.
Side arm preps. So for these, because we want to get the muscles closest to the joint, we actually want to use a lighter spring because it's more effective for hitting those muscles. If you go too heavy, you're going to start to get the more superficial muscles. So from here, we're just going to do a little internal rotation. So pull in, and that's the regular version of the exercise, and come back out. Now we can add pulses to this as well. So pull the hand in, and then stay there and just pulse in 3, exhaling 2, and 1, and then come back out. And Moira's doing this perfectly, but you want to make sure with your clients that, the elbow isn't wandering all over the place. It's staying in pretty much the same place. It can move slightly, but you really want to keep it just about in the same place the whole time. So you're really getting true rotation there. That's great. Let's do external rotation. Good. And we're going to, with external rotation, add some torso rotation at the same time. So not only are you rotating the humerus as you press the arm out to the side, that's it, but now we're going to add torso. So you're going to use your obliques to rotate, that's it, and then come back in. And it just adds more body parts for the person to think about, and it's really challenging.
Just in case you want something more to think about.
And then come all the way in, and let's do the last one, which is adduction. So switching hands again. For this one, the exercise is just reach the hand across the center of your body. That's it, bringing the upper arm down into the body, which is the adduction part. And you could add the pulses that we did before with the internal rotation. That's it, 3 times, and then come back out to the side. That just gives them a really good sense of where that work is coming from, the deep muscles in the shoulder. From there, do you want to do the other side?
Oh.
Or just move on to,
I think we can move right on.
Going.
Yeah, I think
so we can get more in. Let's move on to the, we'll balance you out later.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about me.
We're going to move on to the side twist.
You just keep going, John. It's all about you.
We're going to move on to the side twist. So we're going to have Moira come up on her knees here.
On my knees. Okay.
And this is a really challenging version. So the first thing you want to do, this is more intermediate level. The first thing you want to do is make sure that the client is very stable on their knees. If they're not, just keep them seated, all right?
Yeah,
and you can do the same thing we're going to do here seated, and that's fine. But here, you're going to inhale to prepare. You're going to exhale and rotate. Now, she's just using, you can see, one arm to hold the strap, and then come back. Breathe in, and then exhale and turn. Keep the obliques engaged, and you can see we're allowing just a little bit of movement here through the pelvis. That's it, and come back. Now we're gonna increase that. I'm gonna have her turn her palm down, and you're gonna do the same rotation. So exhale and rotate. Now continue and press the arm out. Good, so a little cross chest press, and then come back all the way. So first we do the rotation with the torso, then we extend the arm out, and then bring the arm back and come all the way back. Again, this can be done seated.
Yeah.
So should we just show it really quickly on the other side seated?
Oh. Yeah, just a little bit of balancing out wouldn't do any harm.
That's right. And so you'll probably start with this variation. So arm in front, breathe in, exhale, just turn, and just at the first, and you can keep the palm turned in, you can keep the palm turned down, whatever you like here. And you can see she's much more stable, actually, when she's sitting on her pelvis. So we've taken more joints out of play, and she can really focus on just the spine.
On the,
Yeah, just focus on
just
the
on the
oblique
obliques.
work.
Yeah.
Then we can add the arm work. So rotate, exhale, and then continue that arm pressing across.
Major pec on that
major
side.
pec, yeah. And actually, when you're sitting, I feel that you get a little
Yeah,
bit
you do
more
really, because I can't turn any more here,
Yeah.
so it's all here.
It's all coming
but
from
it
there.
feels great.
One more
Feeling
time,
really
rotate,
good, John, really
and
good.
press, exhale, and then come all the way back. Perfect. All right, let's move on from there to front rowing preps. So from here, again, really anywhere from a half to 2 springs is going to be fine, but use a lighter spring at first to make sure that the client understands where the work is supposed to come from and the movement pattern before you start to increase resistance.
Yeah, because I think the more we talk about, the lighter the resistance, the more we get into those
That's right.
local stabilizers, the deep ones, the heavier we go, the global ones. But you know that.
That's right.
Okay, I'll just work.
From here, we're going to jump in whenever you want. From
Okay.
here, press forward, exhale, come up, and then come back down. And do that again with both arms. So in the regular version of the exercise, we use both arms to reach up. Now we're going to challenge more by doing unilateral. So just pressing up one side 3 times and come back down. And exhale, press up 2. And one more time. And it is very challenging.
Yeah,
Everything
really
wants to turn here. Yep. And let's go to the other side. Exhale, press up. So lots of stabilization work happening here. 2, and one more time. Exhale, press forward. That's great. And come back down. Now here, from second position, to change it just a little bit, we can actually alternate the arms. So instead of doing 3 on one arm, we'll start with one arm pulling forward. Exhale, pull. And come back, and then switch to the other arm, pull across. Now, this is more challenging than the last one we did because the lever is coming from the side. It's not close to the body anymore. We've moved it further away. That's plenty. That's good. That's a really challenging exercise.
That is, yeah, you really just want to swing right around there.
You can make that a little bit easier and still work the same stabilizers by just bending your elbows. That's it, and then pressing one arm out. So you add another joint to this, you're adding the elbow joint, but it is closer to the body, so it's a little bit easier to control it. And this could be a good place to start with your client and then bring the arm once you know they have the
That's great. You
stabilization.
really feel that deep stability there. I feel it, John. I feel it.
All right, let's move on to the stomach massage.
Okay.
So from here, let me get you
Get
this.
my gripper pad.
All ready for you.
Thank you.
Right there. And yeah, I don't think half a spring is going to be too fun for you. So let's go to 2 springs here. And it can be 2 or 3 springs, but we are doing this in a unilateral position. So normally you start with a round back, toes apart, heels together, balls of the feet on the foot bar. And remember, you're rounded and your shoulders are over the hips with your belly scooped out. No tension up in the shoulders and neck. That's right. And from here, you're going to press back as you inhale, lower the heels, lift them up, and exhale, bring it back in. So that's the regular version. Yep. Now we can work with just one leg at a time. So you can take one of the legs down and either reach it straight, fold it in front of you, or reach it straight out, whatever is more comfortable for the client. And then with the one leg, press out, lower, lift, come back in. Press out, lower, lift, come back in. Good. And then let's switch to the other leg. And the really good thing about unilateral is that you can really make sure that the person is working both sides evenly. And you can see if there is an imbalance, if they're able to stabilize with one side better than the other, or do the movement pattern better on one side than the other.
Yeah, you can really feel when you're obviously stronger on one side than the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so in that instance, once you find out with your client or with yourself what side is a little bit stronger, a lot of times it's best to work the weaker side first and do the number of repetitions that you can, up to whatever is recommended, that you can do on that side, and then match it with the stronger side so that eventually they start to balance out. Okay?
Okay.
Let's move on to the long box. We're going to do arms pulling straps. And the first exercise is the plow. And we are going to be doing unilateral work on this too. So again, you want to go lower resistance than what you would normally use. Sit. So chest is off the edge, bottom ribs are on. And we have a couple things that we can do here. So in the regular exercise, your arms are reaching up the ropes. Your legs are reaching back. They can be adducted or slightly separated if you need a little bit of help with the lower back tension. And from here, you start in a flexed position. Pull the arms back as you inhale and send the spine to neutral. Then exhale, pull them all the way back as you extend the upper mid back. And then start coming down. Inhale, and then exhale over. So that is what we do in the essential level. Now we can challenge the person by just doing one arm at a time. So we're going to let go of one strap. There, I'll put this.
I'll put it right there.
Yep.
So I can
And
find
then
it.
with the other hand, you have a couple of options. One is you can just place it on the headrest right in front of you. That's it, and that will help you stabilize. We're gonna stay in a neutral spine here. We wanna take some of the factors of this out and just work on stabilization. So you're gonna pull back with one arm, and as you pull back, you're really gonna stabilize through the whole torso here, and it's very challenging. So I do recommend that you first allow the client to put their hand down and do the exercise, and then you can either lift that hand up into the salute position, the one that's on the headrest. That's it, and that completely changes what we're doing here because the body wants to swing around, and that's
you
great.
really wanna...
That's great, and then come back down. And let's just even you out with the other side here. And at the end, if you want, and I'll show you this at the very end, a good stretch that you can do with your client. Now here, if you have that support of the headrest, you could bring the client up into thoracic extension and stabilize there, because this is a really nice place to get that extension, and they are supported here.
Yeah,
and
that
then
feels
exhale,
great.
pull back, and then come back down. That's
feels
it.
really nice, especially this hand here. You just feel that closed chain. It just feels a really good, solid.
That's right. And
way
it
to
gives the
work.
client so much feedback to do that, to have
Yep.
their hand against something. And then come all the way back down. Now from here, I'm just gonna have Moira place both hands on the headrest and just relax her whole upper body over. And it's a really good way just to stretch out after you've done that one. All right?
Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Okay, let's move on. The triceps are next. So actually, we've got one more to do. Sorry about that.
All right.
So grab onto those. And for the triceps, again, we're gonna keep the spine in neutral. Now remember, you can also begin to move through the different movement patterns of the spine as you progress, but let's keep it simple right now and just keep everything neutral to start and finish. So you're going to bend the elbows and bring them back in line with your torso, and then one at a time, alternating, press one arm back, exhale, bend it, and then press the other arm back. This is very challenging. She's going from side to side,
Yeah, you
and each
really
time she
wanna pull
switches,
it.
she's really got to stabilize so that the legs don't swing over all the way to that side. You might see a little bit of movement, but you really want to see mostly stabilized torso as you do that. That's perfect. And then release all the way forward. Great job.
Say that again, John. That was what?
Perfect.
Thank you.
Step off the side. We're going to do the
Thank you.
elephant now.
Oh, here. No, I'll take the box. Don't worry. This is your show. Okay.
All right, we're going to bring the foot back all the way up, and let's do the round back.
Okay.
And let's give you a little bit more spring. You can go anywhere from 1 to 2 springs on this. And we're gonna keep the round back position and then place one hand on the carriage. Now, this isn't gonna work if your client doesn't have the flexibility in the hamstrings in the beginning. So you wanna make sure that they are flexible enough, and I believe Moira is flexible enough to do this. And you're gonna have the spine rounded and the top of the head aimed down. Press the legs back, and then come back in. And I find that by doing this in the unilateral position, you can really help the client understand that this arm needs to stay stable and that the work is actually coming from the legs, and they can get a better connection. Again, you've closed the chain on them there really well.
That feels good. Feels
Switch
really
it. Yeah,
good.
it is a great feeling exercise. Inhale back, exhale, pull it in. So same breathing pattern that you use in the essential level, and come back in. That's great. All right,
done?
we're done with that. So come forward, we're gonna move on to what is traditionally called the mermaid. But I'm gonna interject at this point, because a lot of times we have a variety of people in our classes.
Yes, absolutely.
And I know from teaching at my studio that when I get to this exercise, I will just simply call it the side bend, because not a lot of guys want to do the mermaid or want to look like a mermaid, especially if
Yeah.
there are girls present in the class.
Can't imagine.
Yeah.
why.
So let's just call this a side bend.
Okay.
And we've changed it a little bit to make it more linear, so it's not as dance-like. So instead of, normally our feet would be angled this way. We're just gonna cross the legs right in front, put one hand on the foot bar, and the other hand is gonna reach straight up. So we start really close actually to the spring. So you're gonna scoot up a little closer to the springs.
Okay.
And then you're gonna press away, inhale, press out and reach that arm up. So it's first an arm press, and then exhale and flex over to the side. Inhale and come back up, and exhale, bend your elbow and come all the way back to the start. That's great.
Thanks.
Inhale and press out, nice and linear. Exhale, flex over to the side, obviously making sure you're not rotating forward or back. Inhale to come back up, and exhale down. That's
Doing
great.
just what I'm told.
That is really good. Perfection. Now, let's move on to the next exercise. We're gonna do knee stretches.
Okay.
And for knee stretches, you can go anywhere from 1 to 2 springs for this exercise. Let's do 1.5 and just because it is a little bit challenging. You're going to be doing some
Yeah.
pulses.
Yeah.
A lot of times, once your client gets the stabilization down, that they're going to be stabilizing through the torso and moving the legs, then you can start to challenge them. But if they don't have that down yet, where they can't stabilize the torso and move the legs underneath them,
Yeah.
and you're still working kind of on the prep on the floor,
Start getting-
yeah, then I wouldn't add these pulses until you're really sure that the client has that essential level exercise down. So the essential level, you just press the legs back, breathe in, and exhale, pull back underneath. Now to intensify that, we're just going to add the pulses. So you press back a little bit, pulse in 3 and 2 and 1, and press all the way out. And 3 and 2 and 1, press all the way out and come back in. So it's just adding those pulses in the front, and that really
Yeah, you can-
increases the amount that you have to stabilize.
You feel that?
All right, yep, good. Okay, let's turn around and let's
No.
actually go to the knee stretches. I'm just going to put these over the shoulder rest for now.
The other knee stretches.
The reverse knee stretches, yeah. And
The
I'm going to go
fun-
down and spring. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
You're going to wrap
Yep.
your hands over the rails, and you're going to have your knees against the shoulder rest. So what we're going to do here is start with a straight back. So 1 spring is probably recommended. Nice straight back. Breathe in, shoulders over the hands. Exhale, pull the knees underneath you. You're pulling the carriage to your body. Your body doesn't move. And that's really challenging. Now, she is primarily using the hip flexors, but the abdominals have to work really
good,
hard
yeah.
to stabilize.
You really want to let
Exactly.
it go.
Yep. That's great. And then come all the way out. And that's a very simple way to increase intensity for somebody who might not be feeling it when they first start to work with you. Simple movement, but really powerful.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good feeling. Good feeling.
Let's turn around and take you back down for the hip lift. All right, the hip lift. So heels on the foot bar about hip distance apart, neutral alignment through the pelvis. 2 or 3 springs is great for this exercise. Breathe in to prepare.
I just want to go down on record that 2 springs is more difficult
It
than
is
3.
more challenging than 3.
For the
2
record.
springs is more challenging than 3.
Okay, go.
And I did put more on 2 springs. It just happened.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, magically. Thanks, John. Talk
lift,
later.
Lift the pelvis and the lumbar spine up in neutral. Press out just a little bit. And we're going to add pulses here. So pulse in 3,
You and your
2,
pulses.
1. Press all the way out. Come back in and pulse 3, 2, 1. All the way out one more time. Pulsing in 3. Keep the pelvis nice and level. Good. Press out and come all the way back in and let the hips down.
Thank you, John.
That was great. Okay, let's move on to the side splits, all right? So for the side splits, we're going to lower the foot bar down. And let's use the platform extender.
Sure.
Now, if you don't have a platform extender, they can stand on the wood platform. That's absolutely fine. But if you've got one to use it, it is a great tool because it helps you to stand with your legs a little bit closer together, gives you more range of motion. And, you know, it's got a nice cushion to it. And it's very
It's
solid,
soft,
gives
it's
you a
comfy.
lot of surface area to walk around on. So it adds a safety.
It does, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So step up always on the solid part, right?
Not going to help me up? Okay, I can do this.
And from here, 1 foot on each, that's it. And we're gonna work on adduction today. So in the actual version, your arms are reaching out to the side, you press away, inhaling away. It's a nice light spring here, so you are working the adductors, the inner thigh muscles, that's it. And that's the regular version. Now I really like to put the hands on the hips in the beginning with the client. That way, as they're doing the movement pattern, when they press out, they can feel if they start to tilt their pelvis. Yeah,
Yeah.
one way or the other, or start to,
This-
anteriorly tilt the pelvis. And so they get a really good connection, actual physical palpation of what's happening there. So here, we're going to press out, inhale, exhale, bring the carriage back in. Now the key here is they've got to pull the carriage against the stopper, and the adductors are working. They should really
They're working,
feel that.
they're working, John,
Then
keep going.
Bend the knees, keeping that carriage pulled in, and press back up. Good. So you're going to inhale to press out. Exhale to bring that carriage all the way against the stopper first, holding it tight against the stopper. Inhale, bend the knees, and exhale, press back up. And we've got one more. Inhale, press out. Exhale, pull it back in, hold it against the stopper. Inhale, bend the knees, and exhale to press up. That's it, and step back down. Excellent. Thank you so much, Moira.
Yes, thank you, John. It's your turn next time.
All right, I'm ready.
You've seen a number of great ideas to help build the overall fitness level of your clients, sometimes by making very minor adjustments. I hope these ideas will give you more options in every one of your reformer workouts. Until next time, have fun and stay strong.